Is now the right time to buy a home, or should you wait and see if rates drop and then buy? In this video, I'm going to talk about some smart strategies to take to help you decide if now is the right time or not. It can be confusing because you see all these headlines about imminent market crashes in the housing market, or even further price appreciation, also predictions about rates, and you're trying to figure out what is the best thing for you and your family to do. Well, there's a lot of misinformation out there, and I'm going to break it down by facts and help you focus on what really matters, which is your personal goals. So one, as far as mortgage rates go, we've been seeing rates fluctuate between the mid sixes and mid sevens for really the last 2 years now. It's been trading in that range. In fact, if you look back exactly 2 years ago to June of 2023, rates were exactly the same as they are now, averaging about 6.75% for a 30-year fixed. During that time, home prices in much of the country have increased about 14%. So with rates in the high sixes and mid sevens, home prices have still been increasing pretty substantially over the last 2 years. As far as inventory goes, there's still a lack of homes for sale in relation to the amount of buyers that want to buy a home, which is one of the reasons home prices have been continuing to increase. And it still remains very competitive for buyers when homes are priced appropriately. There's multiple offers and they're not on the market for very long, so buyers need to be pretty aggressive when they're making offers. So even with these high prices, prices have continued to increase even with rates being where they're at. So logically, you can imagine that when rates do decline, when that happens, it's going to put even more pressure on prices to increase, because now the lower rates will make homes more affordable and draw more people back into the market. So if you are thinking you want to wait until rates drop, a lot of other people are going to be thinking the same thing, and it's going to further increase the demand for houses, putting even more pressure on prices and making it even more competitive and more difficult to get an accepted offer. So what I recommend is asking yourself, what is my time frame for owning a home if I were to buy one now? Are you thinking you're going to want to own the home for 5 years or longer? Or is it more of a short-term purchase for you and you're thinking you might want to be selling it within a couple of years after buying it? Well, in my opinion, if you're looking for a long-term home to live in and to own, you're probably better off buying sooner rather than later, because right now the forecast is for continued price appreciation. There are a lot of different forecasts out there, but the national average is that we're going to see about a 3% home price appreciation over the next 12 months. So with home prices continuing to increase, and then that will accelerate even further when rates do drop, it's just costing you if you wait, because home prices continue to go up, and that's causing your monthly payments to be higher as well. I have an example to talk about in a second here. So what you're better off doing is looking at your own personal goals and seeing if you can afford the home that you're looking for based on the current rates and the current home prices. If you're comfortable with the monthly payment, you qualify based on your credit, your income, and your assets, then you probably are better off getting in now before homes go up even more in value. If you have something changing soon that's going to affect your ability to qualify and maybe improve your situation, perhaps you're getting a new job, or you're expecting a big raise, or maybe your credit's going to be improving because you just paid off an account, or maybe you're going to have a larger down payment if you wait another 6 months. Those are reasons that affect you personally that might be worth waiting, but I wouldn't recommend waiting because you're trying to time the market. Because again, most people are waiting if they think home prices are going to crash or mortgage rates are going to come down. Those are things you really can't predict. And again, if you're thinking that, there's other people thinking it as well. And if those things were to happen, it would just increase demand for homes and probably result in some bidding wars and prices ultimately going back up again. So, one example I have is if you look back 2 years ago, the 30-year fixed rates were exactly in line with where they are today. Home prices, though, were about 14% lower. So let's use an example of a $750,000 home 2 years ago. If you were putting 20% down and getting a rate of 6.75, fast forward to today, that same exact home is worth about $855,000. So with rates being identical, it's an easy comparison. That home would now cost you $545 per month more with a 20% down payment than it did 2 years ago. Rates are the same, home prices have increased that much. to have your monthly payment on this exact home be what it would have been 2 years ago when it was only a $750,000 home, you would need mortgage rates to go from 6.75 down to about 5.5%. A very substantial drop that I'm not seeing anyone forecast is happening anytime soon. So just to make up for what you've lost over the last 2 years in home appreciation, you need over a full % drop in rates. So as an example, that shows that the person that could have bought 2 years ago, but it's been waiting for rates to come down or for home prices to drop, they've cost themselves about $6,000 a year in payments for that home that they could have bought 2 years ago. So that's why I recommend not waiting for rates to drop or home prices to drop, but to buy as soon as you personally are qualified and comfortable with the payments for the type of home that you want. And I'm happy to help you run your numbers, get educated on what the options are for financing, down payment requirements, upfront costs that you need to save for when you're buying a home, and making sure that your monthly budget is affordable in this market and you know what's available to you. That way you can make an informed decision if now is the right time or if you should wait, again, based on your personal situation and not trying to time the market, because historically speaking, it's going to be very tough to do, and people that try to time it don't usually come out on the positive side in the long run. So give me a call, go onto my website, www.jasongr.com, and you can start filling out your information. I'll be happy to review your options and get you qualified so you can be informed and make the proper decision on whether now is the right time to buy or not.